So as I've mentioned, library search is your first port of call. This particular search searches through about 95% of all our entire content that's available through the library. It's designed to be a Google type of interface that it's easy to use. You don't have to be an IT expert to use it. In just throwing in a couple of keywords, you can uncover a huge amount of results. And then very quickly, you can decide how you can refine that information or narrow it down based on your own particular criteria. So the advantage of it is, well, you can discover lots of information. So it's really, really good as a discovery tool. If you just want to gauge, I'm looking at a particular topic, throw a few keywords associated with that into library search, and it'll give you a flavor for what kind of information is available. Is there a lot in this area or is there very little? And again, this is where you need to be careful about the words that you're actually using, because using some words, you might find lots of results. Using other words, you might find very little. So, sometimes you may need to recheck. If you're finding too much, go back and kind of filter it down a bit. If you're finding too little, maybe broaden out your search. So it's trial and error. It's not an exact science. But the beauty of it is you'll discover lots of different types of information where, you can decide what's relevant or not and narrow it down. Okay. I've been talking about databases. I've mentioned that as well. So what do I mean by databases? Well, that's actually a particular set of results. So you can have databases that might have only theses in them, or newspapers, or they could have just journal articles or electronic books. So they have a particular type of content in them. Or you can have other sources that have a mixture of sources. They could have journal articles, electronic books, conference papers, theses, all sorts of things. They may be what's called multidisciplinary, so lots of different disciplines and subjects could use it. Or they may be very specific. So, if you're a student of chemistry or something, it may have just chemical information. And the difference between using a database or library search is that library search is designed as a discovery tool. You can find lots of information of a variety of sources, and it's very quick and easy to use. A database is much more specific. You are searching a particular set of criteria using particular keywords. So it is a very, very defined search. So without further ado then, we're just going to take a look at this point. I'm just going to stop presenting there for a moment. And I'm going to share another screen. Okay, folks, so you should now be looking at the library homepage. Can you confirm, Fiona?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, folks, so hopefully you're familiar with this page. If you're not, this is the main homepage of the library. So this is where you need to go to find all of your information for your thesis. So as you can see at the top of the page, there's a rolling banner. And just directly underneath, this is library search. So this is what we need to consult when we're starting off looking for information. And just to point out a couple of things about it. Here, where it says type your search here, this is the basic or simple search. So this is where you've decided on your topic, you've worked out whatever keywords you're going to use. This is where you're going to actually type them in here to find that information. And very quickly, you can uncover a whole set of results. Just to point out that there's a little drop down arrow to the right hand side of the search box. And if you click on that, it will bring you into this search, which is the advanced search. And you can see that it looks quite different. You've got a whole page and you've got different criteria. So you've different fields that you can choose. You might choose to search in a title field or in a subject terms field. And it's really up to you. So you can do whatever type of keywords in there. You can decide on what type of material you want to find under the content. Under the discipline, under the language, now we'll say, don't think we have too many languages content here. It is mostly English language, but you will find some French and other languages there as well. So just to show you that that's where it is, should you decide that you want to use the advanced search. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this basic search here. So you should be looking at the home screen now. Okay, so at this point, I've decided that my topic is I'm looking at how mature students cope in higher education, about their confidence levels. So maybe I just want to decide on then my particular search terms. So I'm going to type in mature students. It doesn't matter if you type it in uppercase, like capital letters, or lowercase, but it does matter how you spell it. So make sure you put the correct spelling in. And I'm going to talk about higher education. Okay. With just those words in, I can search for them. Okay, so let's click on search. Now, if this happens on your screen, just don't worry about it. Just click send anyway. And you should now be looking at a results page in Library Search. Can you just confirm there, please, Fiona?
Yes, can see that.
Right, thank you. So folks, how to explain about this particular screen and what information are you being given? You can see that your search terms are up the top of the screen. You can see that there's kind of different sections. You have a left-hand panel, you have this middle panel, and a kind of a blank right one. You can see that it's found over 235,000 results. So quite a lot of results. And unless you had quite a bit of time in your hands, I would suggest you're going to have to narrow down those results very quickly. Looking down through the screen, what kind of information are you given if you look at your actual results there? So it shows you, for example, number one here, you've got the title, the author information, and the publication information. So I can see by looking at this that this is actually a journal article. You've got a link that says the journal article, the full text. So if you wanted to go in and access that full text, that's the link that you would click on. But at this point, it may be useful for yourself just to have a think about how you can scan through your results. So how do you decide on a very quick scan without going into reading the full text what's relevant or not? And a very useful little link there is the preview link. And if you click on that, it gives you a summary of what that particular item is about. So really useful. It also gives you all the information about the publication itself. And again, really useful, you've got these things. These are subject headings. So these are terms that are used to describe what this particular article is about. And again, it's really useful because you can make a note of these. If you find something that's relevant to your own particular topic, you can make a note of some of these subject headings and maybe search through them as well and see what kind of results you get. So really useful. Again, for yourself, this altmetrics and things here, this tells you that it's been tweeted by 6 people, it's on Facebook, 34 readers have it on Mendeley, it's been cited 3 times. So this will show you that it's actually quite a relevant, quite a topical article in this particular field. So it would be noteworthy. Okay. Again, if you want to get out of the particular preview, just click it again. Just to point out a couple of other things here on your screen, folks, and this can help you with the managing aspect of your search results. So when you're working with results, as you go along, it's really useful to keep a record of them. The worst thing you can do is find something really useful, quote it, refer to it in your thesis, and then you can't remember where you got it from. So you need to make a record as you're going along with your research of the sources that you've consulted. And there's various ways that Library Search can help you to do that and to manage those results. So you can see to the right-hand side of a particular item, you've got all of these icons and they do different things. So that very first icon that looks like a little chain, a chain link, and you can see that as I hover my mouse over it, the word permanent link comes up. And if you click there, it gives you a link and you can copy and paste that into a document. So you have a link out to that document. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do with it. The second thing there, you can see the little inverted comma icon and it says cite this item. Again, really useful little tool. So you can actually have a drop-down menu here where it says choose a citation format, and you can decide from there's probably about 5 or 6 kind of different styles there, maybe 7. And just say you're using Harvard, and you can again copy and paste that into a Word document. Now, some people may say, well, that's not exactly how I've been shown how to lay out, a Harvard reference. And indeed, even within Harvard style, there's different kind of specifics that different universities like or different lecturers may wish for. So you could edit that. It's just a handy little thing, a quick tool that will help you with your citing and referencing. And again, you can print it, and we'll talk about exporting now in a moment. So that's handy for doing your referencing. And if you attend my colleague Kieran Quinn's session tomorrow on referencing, he will mention about styles and things there. Another way to keep track of your items are you can email that to yourself. So again, if you click on the little envelope icon, you just simply put in your email address and it'll send it to you. So folks, if you do something like that, be aware that when you send email something in full text to yourself, and if you're opening it off campus, so you're at home and you want to read the full text of a journal article, you will need to log into the library off campus. And what that is, again, you can see it in the top right-hand screen here. If you want to access full text content, it will ask you to put in your username and password, the kind of information that you use to access Moodle or things like that within the college, okay? And once you've done that, you can access and read all of the full text information from anywhere. Okay, the last little icon then, the 3 dots, the 4 dots there, if I click on it, it tells you that you can read this item online, but more importantly, that you can export it. And it gives you these different options here. And just to explain what we mean by that, exporting it to a piece of software that will help you to manage your referencing. Now, my colleague Kieran Quinn will go through this in detail tomorrow, but just to make you aware, there's different products that you can use for managing your references. RefWorks and EndNote are 2 that the library supplies to you free of charge. There's other free ones like Zotero, Mendeley, and even within Word itself, there's a reference kind of built-in bit of software that can help you do it. Just again, to be aware of all these tools that can help you to manage your search results. Okay, so that explains all of the little different ways that library search can help you to manage your particular sources. Now, very importantly, this is your refining panel here. So you can see that as I scroll down, you've lots of different ways that you can narrow down this particular set of results, which you would need to do with this particular set of results, quite a lot. So first of all, because we're all at home, I'm going to say that we only want to look at the full text online items. And you'll notice that each time as I make a refinement, that the item is bolded, and you can see that there's a little green correct mark to the right hand side of the result. That's called a breadcrumb trail. And basically it allows you to see how you've refined your search, what you've done with your search results. And very quickly, if you wanted to, you could simply click on that again to cancel out that refinement. Okay, so I'm also going to decide that because we've spoken about scholarly and peer-reviewed material, that I only want this kind of material to appear. So this is going to get rid of results maybe like newspaper articles or magazine articles or other things of a non-scholarly source. Okay, so moving further on then, I might decide that I only want to view a particular type of content. And you can see that you've journal articles, book reviews, still magazine articles in there, conference proceedings, ebooks, and so on. Anywhere that you see that little more ... if you click on it, it brings you into a more longer, a bigger set of criteria. And again, you could decide, well, I just want one of those particular items. So useful to have a look at the little more and then click on apply. So I'm just going to exit out of that for a moment, and I'm just going to click on journal articles. So I only want to view journal articles within my search. Okay. Moving on down through the search, you could decide to refine these results down to a particular year or date range. At the moment, I'm just going to leave it clear. Then you've got your discipline. So I'll decide, yeah, I only want to view results from education. But again, anywhere that you would see that little more ... you can expand that list and see if there's something that may be more relevant to you. Again, you've got subject terms. You could decide, you want to narrow it down more. Folks, it's up to you. But at this stage, I'm just going to stick with this particular set and just show you how you can look at a full text results. So this top item here, mature students' journey into higher education. How do I actually look at the full text here? Well, if I want to, I can just click on full text online and you'll see what happens. Okay, now because I've already logged into the library off campus, it's brought me directly into that particular journal article. If you weren't, it will bring up a little screen that will ask you for your username and your password. And again, it's the same information you use to log into Moodle. So just put that information in and then you'll access it. So this is an example of what it will look like when you click on one of these links. Now you could decide to go and read that on screen. But a much better way of viewing it is through the PDF. Let's just see. And that's that link there. So let's click on that. So the PDF link is how the item would appear if it was printed, so you get things like page numbers in it. The layout is better, and you can do things like you can download it, you can print it, you can make the text bigger. You can, skip on down to whatever page you want to look at, skip to page 7, whatever you want to do. So it's a good way of viewing the particular item.